Adair. We'll now move to the local community food center, and either Matthew Maynard or Karen Wood.
Hello?
Miss Wood, are you?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good.
Okay. Hello, my name is Karen Wood. I would first like to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you and to listening to me. I am a resident of Stratford, Ontario, and a recipient of the Ontario Disability Support Program because of spinal-related disability along with severe fibromyalgia. I am not here to give you my hard luck story. I'm not a professionalist lobby. I'm here to share my own experience with you so you can make this potentially transformative bill the best it can possibly be and deliver it to folks like me who so desperately need it now. Here with me is Matthew Maynard, who is an advisor and advocate at the local community food center here in Stratford. The local is part of the national network of 15 community food centers across the country, with 2 more on the way. In addition, we work with over 300 good food organizations to advocate for policy changes that will increase people's income so they can afford adequate quality food accessible to all as a matter of a human right. When I heard about the local, I actually came to help others who need it. I learned how to weave sleeping mats out of plastic milk bags and began making them for the growing number of Stratfordites who live unsheltered and are awaiting for permanent housing. A small comfort, but I'm committed to doing whatever I can because I believe strongly that as neighbors, we need to stick together and take care of each other, especially during times as hard as these. In that spirit, we stand united with local organizations like L'Arche Community Living and Foxhill Independent Living, who support community members with disabilities, and urging this committee to pass Bill C-22 with all possible haste to then co-create Canada Disability Benefit along with the disability community as equal partners in the regulatory stage and have the resources allocated in the spring budget for distribution in the fall of 2023. When fewer than half of the working folks in my county make less than a living wage, what hope do those of us who depend on shameful, inadequate social assistance have in accessing the basic necessities of life? I recently saw the dietitian at the hospital. She spoke to me about following the recommended Canada Food Guide. She told me a quarter cup of greens such as asparagus and broccoli were best. I told her to stop right there. As much as I'd like to, I could not afford to eat this way. It's not because I don't know how. I live below the poverty line, so how am I expected to follow Canada's food guide? There is very little choice in the matter for those of us who rely on food banks and community meal programs to get by. When quality, nutritious food is out of reach, you can probably imagine that getting a haircut or sharing a cup of coffee with a friend at a neighborhood cafe is a luxury that I can very rarely afford. In fact, sometimes even medical necessities and things that my doctor has recommended, like a walker or a shower chair or safety bars around my tub and toilet, come out of my already impossibly stretched budget. In July, for example, I broke my foot and had to purchase an air cast boot. This was an extra $86 that I had to pay and caused me serious financial strain. Even without these unexpected expenses, I struggle every month to make ends meet, and I battle with myself to determine which is more important. Do I buy what I need for my health and safety, or buy a loaf of bread, or do I do a load of laundry? My day-to-day concern is on money, not my wellness. I live on $600 a month. Could you? Something so simple should not be so hard. I do not remember when I bought a piece of clothing article brand new, as I can only afford to shop at the thrift stores. Why do I have to struggle and suffer so much because of my disabilities? So when we heard about the proposed Canada Disability Benefit, we reached out to our MP in Perth Wellington, John Nader, to provide him with our thoughts, share our stories with him, and most importantly, show him that our community is fully behind the spirit of this potentially life-changing legislation. Many community members at this meeting expressed some doubt about getting involved in the political process after decades of being ignored, disregarded, and let down by the system. But following our meeting, there was a feeling of hope that our voices were heard. 3 days later, at our Monday night community dinner, we sat and watched a live stream of the House of Commons debate at which MP Nader described his meeting with us and voted along with his colleagues to move this bill to committee for debate. Our hope grew again. We then held a rally at support at MP Nader's office on the day the bill unanimously passed a second reading. Again, our hope grew. Please continue to seek out spaces in your communities like the local and talk to those of us with lived experience. We are here, community members with disabilities, to help you and advocate on our own behalf, to bring hope to everyone living with disabilities in Canada. Too many of us have experienced the indignity of having to prove disabilities to administrators and benefits after being denied several times. Too many have experienced how demoralizing it is to have one benefit clawed back when another is introduced or to be penalized for even getting a part-time job. We need this benefit to avoid those pitfalls. We need Canada Disability Benefit to work in harmony with existing supports to lift every Canadian with a disability above the poverty line so that we can fully participate in communities we live in, to reach our full potentials and to live in dignity.
Thank you.
Before the pandemic, 1 in 8 Canadians and 1 in 4 Canadians with disabilities were food insecure. It has gotten significantly worse during the pandemic, and now with the rapidly cost of living, especially for those living at or below the poverty line because of our disabilities. We have a real chance to end disability poverty. Please, let's not waste it. Ensure this bill doesn't get bogged down in a committee stage and passes quickly. Supports call for the government to co-create the Canada Disability Benefit with the disability community as equal partners at the regulatory stage. Push for resources to be allocated in the spring budget for distribution in the fall of 2023 and ensure there are no clawbacks when the Canada Disability Benefit finally rolls out. Thank you. I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Ms. Wood. We will now open the floor to questions.